You get to choose a life with magic or a life without. I choose magic. Hey there, it's Deb D, your host of You Are the Magic, the show that is supporting you in connecting to that magic within you. Through storytelling, magic activations, solo episodes, and special guest speakers, we are going to explore the magical realm and how you can anchor into magical you in grounded, practical, let's make it real and a part of your everyday type of magic. My intention and hope is that by listening to the episodes, you will access this magic inside you so that each day and in every breath, you anchor into that truth. Because it is true, my friend, you are the magic. Hey there, magic makers. Here we are, back with You Are the Magic. And I have a question for you. What will you choose? The trick or the treat? That's where we're playing today. We're playing in the trick or the treat. Because it seems simple, doesn't it? It seems like, well, I'm going to choose the treat. I want the treat. And there's a lot of times when we're actually choosing the trick. So what I'm talking about here is your magical mindset. That's where we are today in You Are the Magic. For we're in this bigger narrative of our season, which is around the evolution of you, the story of you. It's our air season and we're exploring. What stories do you tell about yourself? What story do you want to tell about yourself? And working with this element of air, which is around change, communication, and our magical mindset. So today we go there, we go into your amazing mind. So if you've been hanging out in the magic realm for any amount of time, you would have heard your thoughts create your reality, or something along those lines. That's true. It is absolutely true. Your thoughts do create your reality. And there's a little bit more to it than that. There's some amazing teachers who have brought forward some of these ideas for us, some of these ways of being, ways of managing our magic and ourselves, like Louise Hay. I would say that she is the grandmother of affirmation. She brought forward, if you change your thoughts, you can change your life. That's what she did for herself. That's what she did through her writing, her speaking, her teaching. It still continues past her passing. Wayne Dwyer, change the way you look at things and the things you look at change. True. Thank you, Wayne. Mike Dooley, your thoughts become things. True. Also true. And I believe this space of your thoughts and your mindset and what's happening in the magic realm is tricky. I do believe that we get a little bit lost down the track of trickiness rather than tuned to the treats. So let me give you an example, something that popped in just before I went live. Actually, I remembered this. Years ago when I was living in Australia, and Sage and I had this like small apartment. And one night while we were sleeping, somebody broke into the apartment and stole my handbag. So I wake up the next morning and it's very disturbing because not only is my beautiful red handbag, which I loved, was stolen, someone had been in my apartment while my son Sage and I were asleep. And so, of course, that day is I'm needing to call the police, and then I find out that whoever has done this has done it to various houses along my street, et cetera, and the story unfolds. But that day, I was prepared to go to meet a new colleague who worked in the healing realm, and we were doing swap treatments. So I needed to call her and say, I can't make it today. We'll have to reschedule because guess what happened? And guess what her response was? Well, you created that. And I was like, what? I created the reality where somebody breaks into my apartment while my son and I are asleep and steals my handbag. And I was like, it was a very tricky moment in the exchange. Now, like in this landscape here, we're in Australia where everybody in the magic healing, I do manifestation stuff is reading the book, The Secret, where we've all tuned on to this idea that our thoughts create our reality. And it's taken off like wildfire in the circles that I was in. And so this woman is feeling like she's in her magical right to let me know that I created that situation. And I remember in that moment, firstly thinking, I don't know if that's magical or healing, what you've just kind of shared with me here. And I don't know if that's true. Because if that's true, did every single person on my street have those same thought patterns? Because we all got robbed. What about the thought patterns of the person who actually broke into the apartment? Like, are you picking up what I'm putting down? It's a little bit more complicated than that. And at the same time, it is true, your thoughts do create your reality. So today we're going to go into the trick or the treat of it all. So for our magical mindset, I'm going to invite you now to see your mind as this magical, amazing machine. Because that's what it is. In your whole energetic body, it is like the machine that's keeping things turning over and producing what it is that you want. A machine has a function. And the function of your mind is to focus the intention. That's what our mind does energetically. It is working to focus the energy. And the energy is, yes, your thoughts, but it's also your feelings, it's your experiences. It is so much that your mind is processing. Right, so we're going to see our magical minds as this machine that works to focus. That's what it's doing for us. Where is the point of focus? And we're not going to focus on all of those individual little thoughts, because that gets tricky. I mean, I've been down that lane before. Maybe you have too, where I'm like, okay, right, I'm going to work on my abundance. Yes, I've got my abundance affirmation. I'm going to go skipping down that lane. And somewhere along the day, I have a thought about something being too expensive, or I have a thought about the credit card. And then I go into the panic of like, oh no, I've had one of those thoughts and now I'm going to create that reality. It's tricky. It's like every single little thought. I don't want to play that game. It doesn't feel fun. It feels like it's designed to trick me. And yes, you can get to the place in your magical story where you are working those individual thoughts. But what's possible if we zoom out and we start to explore your magical mind as this machine that you get to tune? You tune the machine. And are you going to tune it towards the trick or the treat? In our lives, we have bigger narratives. We all do. We all have more than one big narrative that is playing out in our lives. And what I want to invite today is this, that we begin to work with these bigger narratives first before we get into the little thoughts, because we're working with the whole machine. We want to make sure that the whole machine is tuned, and then we can get into the details later. Don't get tricked into individual thoughts when we want to go to these bigger narratives first. So let's play there with trick or treat. I am going to share with you 3 Halloween stories. Yep, I'm telling a Halloween story in May. Maybe you're magical enough to be listening to this episode late in October. I mean, if that's you, please let me know. 3 Halloween stories where I was given the choice of the trick or the treat. I'm going to share these stories, and then we'll mine some magic out in our magical minds, in this machine that is working to focus our attention on either the trick or the treat. Halloween number 1. Mum, can we go trick-or-treating this year? Like I am so fixated on this moment. My son Sage wants to play. He wants to connect to others. Like Sage has got this amazing mind that's tuned to Asperger, which is, I like being on my own and I want to hang out with machines more than people. So this moment when Sage is asking me, can we go trick-or-treating? I'm like, I'm going to take notice. My son's asking me to play. And I need to tell him the truth. Sage, Halloween's more of like an American thing. People don't do it so much in Australia. Like, I don't think anybody on our street's going to be trick-or-treating. Thinks Sage. So his Asperger mind goes towards creating the solution. And he finds it. Doesn't take him long, just a couple of beats. And he's like, well, Mum, they don't know. We need to let them know. Which produces the letter. Hello, this is Sage from number 6. On the night of Halloween, my mother and I will be trick-or-treating. If you choose to play along, please leave your outside light on. I promise to only go to the houses with the outside light on. Thank you, Sage from number 6. The letter is written, photocopied, and then personally delivered into all the mailboxes on our small cul-de-sac street. And then we wait. We wait for the night of Halloween. Sage gets more excited. I get more anxious. I'm connecting to, what if no one's read the letter? What if no one cares? What if no lights are on? What if Sage's heart breaks? And Sage is just getting more and more and more excited. And then we reach the night of Halloween. We're standing in our living room. Sage is dressed as Iron Man, his favourite character. I'm dressed as a witch, naturally. And by now, Sage has roped in his grandmother, his Auntie Sands, his Auntie Liz, and little cousin Bailey. So we've got this motley crew of the Driscoll clan ready to go trick-or-treating. And at the time that the clock clicks 6, which is when Sage told them we're coming at 6, Sage clicks into gear, full Asperger happy dance, out of the house, towards the pavement, ready for trick-or-treating. He is so excited. And I am so anxious. What if none of the lights are on? As I reach the pavement, my heart like cracks open with like, what? Look at this magic. Almost every light in the street is on. Sage does not miss a beat. Goes up to the first door, knock, 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 trick or treat, and it carries on all the way through all of the houses with the lights on. Till we get to the last house, and it's the woman who, she doesn't come out much, the elder woman across the street. Sometimes we see her in the garden with the cat, not often, but the outside light's on. So Sage and Bailey go up and they knock on the door, and the door swings open, and there she is. She's dressed up her whole area behind her with like cobwebs and fake spiders, and she's dressed as a witch, complete with like broom and hat. Like, it is seriously amazing to see this transformation of this woman. And it is the peak of this most amazing fun night. Sage and Bailey, very happy with all of their goodies and candy, make their way home. And as I'm crossing the street behind my motley crew of my family, who have all just had this most amazing, delightful time, and I look up on the street and I see all the lights on, and I see all the magic that has been created this night, I realize and I remember it's not just kids who want play and magic. Adults want it too. We just need to be invited. And my son Sage brought the magic. Halloween number 2. Hey, Mum, is it time to start getting ready now? Ready for what, Sage? What are you talking about? I'm there. I'm stirring the vegetables that I don't really want to be cooking. I've still got to work later tonight, but I've got to make these vegetables so Sage has some vegetables to eat, because that's what a good mother does. I've got to then make sure he does his homework and gets to bed. And I still got to do work tonight because the mortgage is due. I need this contract. Get ready for what, Sage? What are you talking about? And I'm stirring the vegetables. I'm not even looking at him. But Mum, tonight's Halloween. Yeah. But Mum, you said that we could go. We're trick-or-treating again. And then it drops in. It's like, oh, God, days ago. Getting ready to get to work and get Sage to school. Sage asked, can we go trick-or-treating again? And I, in the flurry of all of that, say, yeah. In Sage's world, a yes is a yes. And he believes I've got everything ready. And I don't. I completely dropped the Halloween ball. Sage, we're not doing that this year. No trick-or-treating. But Mum, you said that we could. Well, Sage, some days a yes turns into a no, because sometimes life isn't fair. And at this point, I have turned around from the vegetables and I'm clutching that spatula like I feel so much stress as a single parent in this moment. And then it all just cracks and melts because I look at Sage and he says, but you said that we could go. And there's these little tears just brimming. There's the shake of the bottom lip. The shoulders roll in. And he makes his way out of the kitchen and goes to sit on our red couch. And I stand there with a freaking spatula in my hand, knowing that I have done the worst thing a parent can do. I have been the one to break my own child's heart. Damn it. So I put the spatula down and I make my way towards the couch. And there's Sage, he's sitting there with his hands in his lap and he's just kind of moving his hands, and there's still the quivering. The tears are starting to kind of move down the cheek to the chin. And I just sit next to him. I have nothing. And so I say, Sage, I'm sorry. But you said that we could go. Sage, I know, I'm sorry. There's been a lot. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. And then Sage's posture changes and he looks up to me and he says, it's okay, Mum. And I have this amazing heart-opening moment where I am the worst mother today. And my son can still find compassion and space for me. And so I decide in that moment, next Halloween is going to be the most amazing Halloween that Sage has ever seen. It's going to be amazing. I am going to repair this. The next Halloween, I am alone. For in the April before, Sage unexpectedly dies. I never get the chance to repair that tear. Halloween number 3. It's the year after Sage's passing, and I have made an attempt to build a new life for myself, and I have moved to New York City. I arrive early October, and I arrive with crashing waves of grief. This beginning again is really tricky, and it hurts. And now, Halloween. Halloween is here to haunt me. I don't like Halloween. Halloween is the thing I could not fix. I want to ignore Halloween. But I know I have to leave the apartment because there's some things that I need today. So I decide I'm going to go out early. I'm going to go out early before the trick-or-treating tonight. I'm going to beat Halloween. So I go out early, and I go out just after 3 o'clock in the afternoon, just after that school bell rings. And there they are. All of the children have come out of school. They're already dressed in costume, and they are trick-or-treating at the stores down the main drag. I'm like, this doesn't happen in Australia. I didn't know this happened here in Brooklyn, that kids come out early, that they're trick-or-treating into the stores. I feel completely fooled. And every single kid I see in a costume having an amazing time is like a dagger that meets its mark right at me. The pain is intense. I hate Halloween. Three different Halloweens. One is an absolute treat. Sage brought magic to the whole street. The next Halloween, I am the villain. The next Halloween, it feels like Halloween's got me. So in my magical mind, what am I going to choose to place my focus on? The trick or the treat? Now, as you can see in the stories, when I got to that third Halloween, I was focused on the trick. It's not fair that I didn't get to repair. It's not fair that Sage has died. It's not fair. Nothing's fair, and it all hurts. And forget Halloween. I'm having nothing to do with it. I'm going to deny it all, push it all away. That is my mind focused on the trick. Now, what happened after that Halloween, when we move to the Halloween that happens the next year, I can see what's coming. My mind starts to play with trick, trick, trick. The trick's coming, the trick's coming. Watch out, it's going to hurt again. And I took a moment to refocus. Do I want to stay connected to this trick? Or do I want to breathe life and focus into the treat? That first year where Sage brought magic to the whole street, where Sage gave the lesson to me. It's not just children who want to play. Adults want to be invited too. And there's so much there in the treat. And for years, Halloween had been tricking me because of my emotional narrative and because of this bigger story I was telling about myself, that Halloween was horrible. Yeah, that Halloween where I broke Sage's heart. It was really horrible, but actually there was a sweetness to it. When Sage was able to hold my heart in that way and tell me that it's okay. Like, he taught me so much in that moment. And that Halloween in Brooklyn, it was absolutely painful, but it also taught me you can't shy away from this pain because the daggers just get sharper. So there's actual magic in every single one of those Halloweens. But working my magical mindset, where do I want to focus? I want to focus on the magical Halloween. And it doesn't take away the other narratives. It's not like suddenly they disappear. But I get to choose how I tune my mind. I get to choose. You get to choose. And now for years, Halloween has been the day where the magic can arrive in unexpected ways. When I see children in costume trick-or-treating, I now delight. I've been to so many Halloween parties as an adult, dressed in my own costume. I said yes to the treat because I don't want to continue to trick myself with those thought patterns of you're a bad mother, you dropped the ball just because you were busy and stressed. I don't want to set up a world where I can't enjoy children. I didn't want that for my life. So it took a little bit of work in tuning my mind. But see what I'm going here, rather than going into the minute thought, come out with the bigger narratives of your life. And what stories are playing out for you where you get to choose? Because we can always tune our magical mind so that it is focused in the direction that we want. And again, I am not talking toxic positivity where we just add some sugar on top and it's all good. You do the work of the mother in me forgiving myself for completely ruining that Halloween. There's some work in there for me to do. But I can do that from a loving place, from a place of believing that I get to choose the treat, and that with my magical mind, I can dissolve the trick. We get to choose. What often happens with our magical mind is our mind is making choices for us because we are not there tuning the machine. We've just let it run wild. And unfortunately, my friends, the way of the trick is where the wild wants to grow. So we want to be focusing and tuning what's working out for me. If something didn't work out for you, what can I learn about that? How can I refocus? What's working out for you? What in your magical mind do you need to refocus? Because I'm telling you, you can, and you're living a big, beautiful life, so you're going to continue to have experiences that either work or don't work, relationships that work or completely fall apart. It's going to continue to happen, and all of that energy is going to come through your amazing machine of a mind, and it's going to be filtered, and it's going to be focused. And you tune your mind rather than leaving it to run wild in all of the trickiness. Trick or treat? How will you tune your magical mind? Now, in future episodes, we are going to go more into some detail around this tuning and mindset and so much more, because we're in this whole bigger narrative of the evolution of you. But what I'm wanting to share with you now is, if you want the story about yourself to change, evaluate the stories you are telling about yourself now. Are they tuned to trick or treat? And whatever may be, don't give yourself a hard time about that, because there's probably some tricks in there, my friend. We've all got them. Work towards your tuning. So that's what I'm doing tonight, actually. I'm teaching inside the Big Life Magic Makers a magical mindset masterclass. And then I'm going into a 4-week intensive series where we're going to be tuning. So this is the kind of stuff that we do inside the community, the Big Life Magic Makers. So if you're curious, if you're like, I want to actually work with this, then click the link that is below for the Big Life Magic Makers, the membership community, because it may be something that resonates for you, because that's the space where we get more into the practical magic of the how-to and do it together. You may also feel that you need to return to the episode before this one with Tosca Di Matteo, where we're talking about the inner critic. You may need to go back there. Or you may need to go back to episode 1, where we're talking about this resistance that we build. Whatever journey that you're on, wherever you are, choose to be the tuner now of your magical mind and tune towards the focus of what you want. And you know it, you want more treats. So go and get them. I want you to have them. So my friends, every episode of You Are the Magic is dedicated. And this episode I want to dedicate to 4 women who absolutely were shapers and are shapers of my magical mind. I am talking about the Sloth Gang. When I was in high school, I was best friends with Katie, Nina, Marty, and Julie. And we are now still best friends. In high school, we called ourselves the Sloth Gang because we didn't want to do the sporty things like the others. And we took this identity. We had T-shirts, we had everything. And we were together as a gang, as teenage girls, helping each other to craft the world around us, and also reflecting back to each other how great we were, what we appreciated about each other. I feel so lucky that as a teenage girl, where your mind is so open to suggestion, that I had a gang, our posse, and we were tuned towards you're fabulous. I've got you. You can do whatever you want. Let me help you get there. And now, more than 30 years later, we are still doing that as a gaggle of girls who have grown up to be amazing, magical women. Sometimes the treat is who we're connected to. And it's an absolute treat in my life that I have these 4 amazing women who have my back, who tell me, you're doing well, you're fabulous, keep going. For they live inside my magical mind. And the days that feel like the trick is stronger, that's the days that I reach to them, because they are the treat. So right now, my friends, choose for yourself who supports your magical mind, who's either supported you to create magic in your mind, or who supports you now to continue to tune your mind towards magic and possibility and the treats available to you. Who's that? Send some love to them right now. My magical friends, let's get out there in the magical playground and gather some treats. Indeed. Please stay connected in all ways to me and to the magic in yourself. Follow all the links below and in the show notes. And next week, I'm going to be back and I'm going to be talking about one of your tuning tools that connects you to the universe. Next week, we're going into intuitive you, a little deep dive into your intuition and how it is one of your major tuning magical tools. That's next week, but for now, I'm going to say it. Maybe you'll say it with me one day. One day people will say it with me. Breathe it in now. Believe it to be true. Smile. Yep, there it is. There's the truth. There's the treat. It's you, my friend. You are the magic. Thank you for spending your time and your magic with me in the latest episode of You Are the Magic. I invite you now to click the link for ATTUNE. It's a 5-day intuition activation, which means over 5 days, you will receive an audio activation from me, which is going to support you in tuning your intuition, your magical insight, the magical language that lives within you and connects you to our divine, glorious universe. Because I believe it. If we are all connected to our intuition, then we're all in ease, fun, play in the magical realm, and that's where your big life magic lives. Other ways to stay connected to me and Big Life Magic is all available to you on the website, biglifemagic.com. There you'll find the links and information for the Big Life Magic Makers, our virtual community for women. You may choose to join the membership. We would be delighted to welcome you. Plus, there's more information about working one-on-one with me or joining a new moon circle, which is available every new moon, open to anyone across the globe who wishes to join us. There's so many ways that we can connect together and connect to your magic, and I invite you to say yes to that now. I'm also going to ask this. If this episode or this show has inspired you or changed anything in your world, I would deeply appreciate a review on the platform that you're watching or listening on. For I believe when we share and elevate each other, our magic expands. And this is what I wish for us all. So breathe it in now, my magical friend. Breathe it in and smile, for it's true. You, my friend, are the magic.